Hey everyone, welcome to the Rob Review. Tonight I'm talking to you about building wealth. Do you understand how to do it? Perhaps some of you do. Perhaps some of you think it's a myth that you could ever become a one percenter. Well, I'm going to crack some of those myths right now, just in the first couple of minutes of this episode. And then I'm going to go on to show you what I believe is the simplest wealth building strategy that anyone can follow, no matter where you're at in life, where you want to go, or what you believe your IQ to be. Anyone can follow this strategy. So let's get into it and dig into the realities of where you could be 3 to 5 years from now if you apply this wealth building master plan that is not mine, because I am nobody compared to the people that have followed this and built huge fortunes. Rockefeller, Carnegie, Buffett, just to name a few. This thing comes from my studies of these people. So let's dig in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very simply put, I'd like to welcome you to this Rob Review. I'm your friend in success. I'm the host of the show. If you're just tuning in for the first time, let me lay a simple understanding on you. Let me lay a few simple things down so you get who you're listening to, where I'm coming from, and so you can grasp everything that we're getting ready to lay out here, because it's not a show about things that are over anybody's head. I understand this, therefore anybody can. So what are we talking about here tonight? Okay, so the wealth building master plan that I'm about to lay out for you, why should you listen to me if you've never heard the show before? Why is honestly up to you. I really don't care whether you listen to me or not. I'm doing this for the 1 or 2 people out there that I know will have their lives changed by me disseminating this information through this channel to them. Everybody else doesn't matter. However, another why would be, I'm a guy that, by all accounts, statistically speaking, should not be alive. I'm a guy that, based upon my lifestyle choices, should have died young, or even if I had lived, should be like only deserving of some menial job or task for the rest of my life, making minimum wage, is my education level and all those things. But now that's just general education. That's just what you can put on a plaque or what you can give out as a diploma, and I have overcome all those things, including and not limited to addiction and many other things, to go on to build a life. I was just talking to my wife before I started to film this. I believe that I have what I have designed to be my perfect life, and nothing's perfect, so you knock on wood, nothing bad happens, but I love my life. And I don't hurt for anything. I don't want for anything. And I'm steadily building towards things of the future that I do desire. I have lifestyle choice. And by all accounts, I should not, right? I am the 1% of what should not have happened, but it did. So therefore, those credentials alone, maybe some of the things that I'm about to disseminate to you actually work. That's why I think you should give it the next 30 minutes and just listen with an open ear before you judge. You should see on your screen right now the simple wealth building idea that I'm about to put across to you, the master plan. There's a lot of ways to build wealth. You're going to see these PowerPoints. You're going to be able to download the PowerPoint slide if you go to therobreview.com, and you can find those things. So you can follow along with me, but they're also going to be on the screen as we go through. Wealth building is so many facets of things, right? But when you really break it down, there's about 4 asset classes, and ultimately wealth building to me, what it means, first of all, what wealth means is when you get to a point in your life, nobody else's, your life, where you have reached the pinnacle of your lifestyle choice being provided without worry. That's what I believe wealth is. Now that could be $1 billion to you, that could be $1 million, that could be $10,000 a month. And that's the first kind of frame of mind that I want to crack open here is the idea of I can't ever become a 1%er because I don't have $1 billion idea or a business. I can't invent things, blah, blah, blah. First of all, from this point on, do yourself a great favor and kill the word I can't from your vocabulary. It's a sucky, crappy, useless word. A useful phrase to change the terminology. A mentor of mine taught me this phrase. Instead of saying I can't, every time you say that, change it to, or immediately after that, say how can I? Because it reverses your brain's trajectory and makes you think, how can I solve this problem, rather than I can't solve this problem, so we move on down the road. It physically is difficult at first, but it actually works. Second of all, the 1%ers of America are extremely wealthy people. But to live an incredible lifestyle, if you go do math on some of the things that you actually want out of life, or some of the things that you need to survive without having to stress over your income, after you take care of debt, you don't need that much to be a top earner. $250,000 in America makes you like a top 6% earner. 5% is like $500,000, and then 3 is like $1 million, and then on and on and on. $1 million a year. That's $80,000 a month, give or take. Okay? That's a lot of money. Most of us could never spend that kind of dough. So let's break it down a little bit more and say $20,000 a month. How many of you think that's a huge figure? Okay? It's not, but it also is in a way, because $20,000 a month, $240,000 a year, if you brought that income before taxes, you'd be making enough money that you probably would never want for anything again. You'd be making enough that you could put money in the bank. You'd be making enough that you could spend, and live in a really nice house with really cool cars and blah, 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 all the stuff that really doesn't matter, you could have. And most of all, you could have peace of mind because you would have no debt. I did a show a while back about that $200,000 a year kind of mark. Most people, when they think of wealth, they think they can't obtain it because they think $1 million plus. Wealth to me is a mindset, a lifestyle choice. And at $10,000, $20,000 a month, I consider myself to be wealthy. I consider that kind of lifestyle choice because I'm not overburdened by my money controlling me. And I begin to see the future of me controlling my time. So let's get into this with that kind of mindset, the simple wealth building. First of all, this is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. I'll say that one more time. My opinion. Okay? It's worked for the people that have taught me. However, it may not work for you. It's how you apply it and the long-term thought process of it. Okay? Kill your out-of-control debt using the assets that you currently have. If you don't have any extra income, it is because you are overburdened by spending and possibly overburdened by your out-of-control debt. What is out-of-control debt? It is debt that you do not have a set end date to pay off, meaning not your house, not your car, but your credit cards, the loans, all those things that you have no idea when they're ever going to be paid off. Those have to be killed. First, foremost, with whatever you can throwing at them, working your butt off to do it, and you can go to extremes if you want to, meaning sell everything that you're not going to use, cut everything that you don't need, cut all the expenses that you don't need to survive. If you really, really want this, perhaps you're willing to do that. Perhaps you're not. Doesn't matter. I kind of fell in the middle for me. For me killing my debt, it was cutting out some stuff, delayed gratification, but also understanding that I wasn't so buried in it that I needed to cut everything out. You have to find your middle of the road thing. And in order to do that, in order to kill your out of control debt, you have to know where you're starting. That's the main thing that most people just never, ever really master. And it's not budgeting. It's mastering the idea of long-term planning. A budget is only part of it. It's also, okay, if I am going to spend this $100 here, what's it going to hurt down the road? You've got to understand what you've got, really take a good hard look at it and figure out where you can begin to amass a little bit to kill out of control debt. And then once you do and you own your income again, then you can begin to invest that surplus into cost-effective investment strategies. I would not raise your cost of living unless you needed to raise it because you're in a Biden type of America where, the CPI indicator is off the freaking charts and inflation is crazy. However, now you're saying, okay, well, if I don't have any surplus after I get out of debt, what do I do? Let's get into that. Okay. Use your free time and learn an asset class. Most people never again take the time to learn it. They want it now. They want the wealth tomorrow. Imagine for a second this for me. If you were to take the next year of your life and save, I don't know, $100 a week, okay, compounding that for a year, okay, that's $5,200. And then you took that $5,200 after taking a whole year to learn and master how to invest in, say, the stock market or in some business or in some real estate. You pulled together some money that was a little bit more than $5,200 and you learned how to get some other people involved into a deal and you did your first real estate deal. Whatever the case may be, you need to think about, I'm not going to start investing right now if I have no idea how to do it. I'm going to take a year and pick an investment that I can learn about. The stock market is a great one. Real estate, a great one. Gold, silver, precious metals, not so great for first-time investors, but still a killer asset class, right? Business is one that most people go into because you can start with little or no money, and there's all kinds of things that I can teach you and talk to you about in that avenue, right? And to lead into something, okay, I only have a very limited time here on this Rob Review to go through this series. And so we're going to go in depth into this stuff as we go through more than just one episode of this Wealth Building Masterplan series. However, if you want to really go into depth, I'm doing a live workshop as we're recording this. It'll already be done. So you can go and get in on the replay of that by going to therobreview.com, or I believe it's like the Wealth Creation Blueprint or something.com. Go to the Rob Review. You'll find a link to be able to see, and that workshop like goes, 4 hours in depth in this stuff. But the asset classes themselves, I don't need to disseminate the information, because if you go and spend a year learning one asset class, you will know it inside and out. And then you will be able to take that foundation and grow into becoming an expert on it. So instead of thinking of, I want to change everything today, think about how your life's going to be like in 3 to 5 years when you take the next 3 years and you start daily spending 1 hour to 2 hours reading, learning the asset class. How do you figure out how to learn an asset class? You simply find an expert that's accessible in your local area that knows an asset class and figure out how they became an expert. And you study what they studied, or you shadow them. Make sure that that expert you're learning from is one that has the lifestyle that you want. That should be self-explanatory, but I'm just laying that out there. Don't follow somebody who doesn't have the results you want. Plain and simple. Okay? Focus on one investment class. And then once you get results from that, whoa, don't want to lose that one. You can then become the best you can be at that asset class and investing it. And then you begin to find other experts because you're becoming good at something. You get known, especially in local areas. And then people come out of the woodwork to want to invest with you. If you make that an availability, you don't have to. But you begin to change your friendship situation with certain people. And you begin to open up your circle to people that are experts in other areas. And then the asset classes that you don't know anything about, you just invest with other people. Kiyosaki, Warren Buffett, Trump, great examples of people that, whether you like them or hate them, they understand that wealth is about building a team. And that team is other experts in other things that you know nothing about to protect your wealth and to grow it. Okay? Again, you're building a team, guys. It's long term. Make the money work harder for you. You start to compound your results, okay? And that effort starts to show. All right, the knowledge that you're gleaming here means nothing without discipline. What does that mean? It means simply this. One, your asset class that you're going to become an expert in, that is so much more than just a one-year thing. You should look at it from the standpoint of a lifetime of learning. For some of you, it's not going to be as easy as it is going to be for others. Because for some of you, you stopped learning a long time ago. So the curb to get back into how to study for things is going to take some time. For others of you, you can get right back into it. But the discipline is only gonna work for you if you do it daily. And then there's something that's called the compounding effect of life. You go read a book called The Compounding Effect by Darren Hardy, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a masterful thing that happens when you, the person, begins to daily put that work in. And you begin to pay attention to how you're working, and you adjust it. And you make tweaks, and you begin to compound. The ball begins to then roll downhill for you. And then you've got the compounding effect working in your favor. There's discipline in the learning. There's also discipline in the approach to how you use that knowledge that you're learning, meaning you don't bet everything in one foul swoop. You build, and you look at it from a long-term perspective, both in what you're investing in, wanting to own it for a long term, and two, how you're going to buy. If you notice people that are looked at as oracles of, let's just talk about the stock market, for instance, Wall Street, Warren Buffett, contrarian investor, right? He has the discipline to not buy when everybody's on a frenzy and not sell when everybody's running for the hills. It's the discipline that makes his strategy work, not the money he has. The money he has was built based upon the discipline that he learned. Discipline comes first. Discipline is a must. Discipline and know-how will make you rich. Greed will keep you poor. That's a quote from a mentor of mine. Okay? Discipline and know-how will make you rich. Greed, fear, doubt will keep you poor. All right, develop risk tolerance accounts. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, no matter the asset class that you're going into, as you begin to have a surplus of money, no matter how little or big it is at the beginning, it's going to compound. You're going to put it into an account that you can make sure you're not going to spend that money, and you can stack up ready to invest and not buying into something when it's not valued at the best place for you to purchase. And then you can also divvy that money up into, say, okay, this one's for long term. Now that I've got more money in this account, I'm going to put some over here, and I'm going to take that one, and maybe I'm going to take it and put it in a little bit of a riskier pot. It's got more of a reward, but I do take a larger risk of losing it. All of this money, regardless, you should understand that people like Buffett, people like Munger, people like Trump, they don't take risks with money that they need to survive and live on. You can never, ever, ever objectively invest your money if you're worried about your wife finding out because you took the bill money. If you do that, you deserve the butt whooping you get, and not from a person, from the market or from the real estate or from whatever if it goes wrong, because I've done that and it's stupid. Don't do that. Only, no matter how little it is, invest money that you're willing to risk, that you can confidently understand that there is loss that happens. And so that money has to be thought of as not needed. Otherwise, your objectivity will be clouded, and the only investor that wins is the one that can be objective. And there's always people out there that are looking to take your money. So don't give them the opportunity. Be the guy that is the most disciplined, the most knowledgeable, the most prepared, and objective. Okay. In the next video, we're going to talk about creating a simple surplus of money so that you can begin to have an asset that gives you money to invest. We got to end it right here, but I've given you a lot of food for thought and a lot of things to chew on. I would say the best action steps for you, for me, if I were sitting in your place, would be to take a simple piece of paper, and if you write down where you're at, what kind of out of control debts you currently have you need to kill, what you can begin to tomorrow dedicating to kill that. Write down all your debts in order from ones that have the highest interest rate to the lowest, and start killing them and watching yourself killing them. Take that paper and keep it with you at all times. And also on another sheet of paper, write down what you'd love to have. What your income would be, that number that would allow you to live a stress-free life. And then take that number and back it up and see how you would get to it. And if you have no idea how you would get to it with your current income, your current job, or your current business, then set that number aside and wait until you watch the next video so that you can kind of understand how to build something that would get you there. All right. With that, I'll say good night to your TV viewers. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, I'm your friend in success here on the Rob Review. If you're watching online, this wealth creation master plan, the in-depth version is available as a live workshop. The link is available in the description for you to kind of see and to get a way more in-depth kind of baptism by fire into this idea of a wealth building master plan. I'll see you on the next one.